Thank you, Joy. So, good afternoon, everyone. I want to thank you for coming to this seminar. It's called The Science of Graceful Aging, What Really Works. And so I'm excited that you all are here and to go over the research and the data and what it says about how we can age gracefully. And one of the things I want to point out is that it's not too early or too late. So no matter what the age range is, this is something that can be effective for you. And with my seminars, what I like to do is I like to connect the dots. That's pretty much what I do in my career. I own a business called Outcomes Excellence, and we look at the data, the research, and we figure out how can we make this practical for people? How can we make this easy for people to apply to their lives? And I like to share that evidence with other people. So with you, basically. And I also like to ask a lot of questions. So as Joy stated, I do like it to be interactive. Feel free to give a thumbs up, give a heart, to ask questions in the chat, or to come off mute. So first, for the overview, I want to talk about overcoming ageism mentality. So there are many ways that people look at ageism, but I want to be very specific of how I'm talking about it with this class. So sometimes people think ageism is about discrimination based on age, particularly if you're older. But when I talk about ageism, I'm talking about stereotyping someone based on their age. So there are many types, and it can be across many different age ranges. And I'll give you an example. So one time I was hiring an assistant, and one person I interviewed, she was really, really good, but she was really, really young. And the assistant that I needed, because we were going through a lot of regulatory issues, I needed someone that could just hit the ground running. And I was concerned about her age. And I did not want to be biased because she was so young. So I asked the HR director to interview her, and I said, if you like her, go ahead and hire her. And she said, Sheena, why didn't you like her? She's perfect. And so she ended up hiring her. She was a great assistant. And so when I talk about ageism, I mean pretty much stereotyping anyone based on their age. And why am I talking about it for this particular session? It's because sometimes when we're talking about health, we have certain ideas in our mind about what to expect at a certain age. We stereotype what to expect at that certain age. But I want us to challenge that in our thinking as we go through this, because a lot of times we hear this just comes with age. You know, my knees are aching or my back is hurting, and we think this just comes with age, or this just runs in my family, or I can't really do anything about this. But I want us to challenge that thinking, because as you'll see in this presentation, a lot of it is lifestyle choices, and that's something that is very much in our control. So aging gracefully is possible. Go ahead and come off mute if you want. And just tell me, so a few of these people, you might know who they are. They're very well known, a couple of them at least, in social media and things like that. So how old do you think Annette Larkins is? The one to the very far left.
45.
45. Anyone else?
35.
Yeah. So most people think she is in her 40s, but she's actually 70. What about the gentleman, Tory Washington? How do you think he is?
Yummy.
He is 50. To me, he looks like he's 20 or 30. Now, she's hard. Takashima Mika. How old do you think she is? Come on, speak to me. I like people to speak to me when I'm speaking.
35.
75?
35.
Okay. She's 92.
Stop.
Yeah, she's 92.
No.
And Babette, they call her Chef Babette. She lives in California. She's 70 years old. And so this is just another example that I want to
Wow.
provide so that we can kind of dispel those thoughts on what different ages are, or what is expected as far as health at different ages. Is really individual. And so one of the things that I want to do during this presentation is talk to you all about the top 5 things that people are concerned about when it comes to aging. And again, it's not too early and it's not too late. So it's not necessarily about age, but we are all aging. As soon as we are born, we're aging. So what are the top 5 things for anyone that's aging? Fact or myth? How someone ages is based on that individual. I just said it. Fact or myth? Fact.
Fact. Yeah.
Biological age does not always match chronological age. So top causes for chronic diseases. The top diseases are heart disease, diabetes, and arthritis. And most of those are caused by cumulative lifestyle choices. So nutrition, exercise, sleep, things like that. Some of you may have heard of this acronym called New Start. I love it. I just heard about it 5 years ago during COVID. I like it because it's so simple, but it's profound. So New Start is N for nutrition, E for exercise, W for water, S for sunlight, T for temperance, A for air, particularly fresh air, R for rest, and T for trusting God. And even when my son is not well, if he's coming on with something, which is rare, I'll ask him, are you missing any of those things? Are any of those things low? Usually it's exercise because he likes to play video games, or it's water, or sometimes even nutrition. He'll snack on a lot of things, but he's not really eating how he's supposed to eat. So that's something really quick and simple. Like I said, simple but profound for us to think about if we are dealing with any of these type of chronic diseases.
Can you
So
do that again? NEW.
yes, and New Start. So in
Nutrition.
Put it in the chat as well, guys.
Thank you, Joy. Yeah, so it's in the chat. But yeah, it just to say it again, it's nutrition, exercise, water, sunlight, temperance, air, particularly fresh air, rest, and then trusting God. And then avoiding and improving chronic diseases. So we want to have an anti-inflammatory diet. Less processed food, more fruits and vegetables, and omega-3s. Also consistent physical activity. So at least 30 minutes a day, or 5 days a week can reduce the risk for those things. Stress management, obviously chronic stress contributes to inflammation and poor habits. And then preventative screenings. One thing that I usually request or recommend for my clients when I'm coaching is that they look for a DO, a doctor of osteopathic medicine, naturopathic physician, or functional medicine physician, because medical doctors or MDs are typically not, this isn't across the board, nothing is across the board, but most of the time MDs are highly trained in medicine. They're trained in how to give medicine, how much to give, what to give it for. And so if you're looking for something more natural, then these types of doctors, the DOs, naturopathic and functional medicine, tend to specialize in that more. I actually have a personal friend that's an MD, and she is very into natural solutions and things like that. So again, it's not across the board. There are some MDs, but it's just hard to find online. Like you have to actually know them and know their own philosophy. And then fasting. So fasting can encourage a cellular reset. So for this section, as far as the top 5 things that I want to share with you today, I want to focus on fasting a little bit. So the practical activity that you can do, which helps improve cellular damage, is fasting. Our cells are constantly reproducing, whether they're healthy or damaged. And cells from microorganisms like viruses and bacteria also reproduce in our body, and this can cause further damage. However, fasting helps us reset on a cellular level. So fasting switches the body from glucose to ketones as our primary fuel source. So it triggers cellular repair and recycling. And autophagy, it also encourages autophagy, which is the body's natural recycling system. And it helps to break down those defective cells, the ones that are non-functional, and it repackages them in a new way so the body is more efficient. And also, fasting boosts regenerative capacity of stem cells. All of our body parts, whether it's our nails, our hair, our skin, all of it's made of some type of cell, a specific cell. But stem cells actually can be made into any type of body part. So when we're in our mother's womb, when we're just a little egg, we're mostly stem cells. And those stem cells can make a lung, can make a heart, it can make a brain. So the stem cells are really special. And when we fast, it regenerates the capacity of those stem cells. So we all still have them in our body. And fasting also reduces chronic diseases. So in a fully fasted state, again, metabolism switches from glucose to ketones. And this study said, given how much of chronic disease is driven from underlying insulin resistance and inflammation, it's plausible that fasting may help reduce diabetes, high cholesterol, hypertension, and obesity. I feel like I just saw a comment, did I not? Joy, do you mind if there are
Yes, there is a
things in the
question that
chat?
just, sorry, I was having trouble coming off mute. There is a
Okay.
question in the chat. What are the recommended, or what is the recommended length of time for fasting?
We're going to get to that. Good question. It's the next slide. So fasting to jumpstart regeneration. Stem cells from the fasting mice. Well, first of all, this study did a research on mice, and it showed that the stem cells from the fasting mice doubled their regenerative capacity. They said this was something that they saw in both the young mice and the aged mice. So it doesn't really matter, according to research, how old someone is. The fasting helps the regenerative capacity of stem cells regardless. It also says stem cells from the mice that fasted revealed that fasting induces cells to switch from their usual metabolism, which burns carbohydrates such as sugars and metabolizes fatty acids. So fasting, if you know, we can go online and Google like how to improve heart disease or how to improve diabetes, and a lot of them will say nutrition and exercise, which is correct. I wanted to focus on fasting though, because I don't think this gets a lot of more attention that I think it deserves. It's such a powerful tool that we have for our health. So types of physical fasting. So what research is finding is that even though fasting does help with cellular repair and recycling, autophagy, to go into autophagy, it does require at least 3 days. And that's showing consistent throughout the research. There was one study that showed every single participant didn't go into autophagy until 3 days. So even though if you don't do it for at least 3 days, you may not experience autophagy, but you can still get the benefit of cellular repair and regenerative stem cells. So these are the types of fast that I find in the research most frequently when it comes to their benefits and effects. No food or water fast for 3 days. This one, I would say 100%, you want to do this with a physician or a nurse, especially when it comes to no water, because you don't want to get dehydrated and make matters worse. It is effective though, and the people that did this in the research, obviously they were being observed by medical staff while they were doing it. I have done this fast multiple times in my life. I've been fine, but I'm also not on medication or anything like that. So especially if you're on medication, you want to talk to somebody before you do a no food or water fast. And then a no food fast. They do this for 3 to 7 days. So you're drinking water, but just not eating food. I would say for this one, definitely want to at least alert somebody, like a medical professional, that you're considering it and hear their thoughts on it. Again, if I would strongly recommend going to a physician that supports your your lifestyle choices, because I'll give you a story real quick. I went to a physician to get my blood work done, and this was when I was in my early 20s. And she was oohing and ahhing over it. She was like, "Oh, this is so perfect. Your everything is right on target, right on track." And she said, "What are you doing?" And I told her, "I'm vegan. I've been vegan for over 2 decades." And I told her that that was one of the things I was doing. I was going to go into exercise and all of that, but I didn't even get a chance because she immediately said, "Whoa, whoa, whoa. You need meat and you need dairy." And I thought to myself, you just saw my results. You just said that they were amazing, the best you ever seen. You asked me what I'm doing. And now you're telling me I have to change it, even though my results are perfect, because of what you believe or were taught. And so it's very important that the type of physician or medical doctor or DO or whoever else that you're going to, that they have the training and the type of lifestyle that you are trying to go into. Now, intermittent fasting. Now, this one's interesting because to go into autophagy based on the research, again, you usually have to do it for at least 3 days. And with intermittent fasting, which is usually a certain time of day, so you're just eating maybe within a certain window, you're still consistently eating. And so your body doesn't have a chance to change from glucose to ketones. So it's not as easy for you to get the benefit of autophagy on intermittent fasting. But again, it still helps with the cellular repair and cellular reset. And then a whole food plant-based fast. This is my favorite. I do this at least once a year. I actually just did one month ago. I usually do it for 21 days. But it's basically just giving your body a whole bunch of goodness: fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, beans. Sometimes I do just raw, like mostly salads. Sometimes I do like 50%, and then I'll still have soups and things like that. But every time I do it, people are complimenting my skin and my nails and my hair. So you see the benefits externally. So just imagine what's going on internally. But did that answer your question about how frequent you should fast or what types of fast? Just give me a thumbs up if it did.
Yeah, I guess
Okay.
I'm a little confused. Like, can you do this like for the long term, or is this something for the short term?
It is definitely for the short term. But I would recommend that even if you're not fasting consistently, it would be ideal to still eat healthy when you're not fasting. So what some people do, and I've done it myself. I remember one time I fasted, I did a similar whole food plant-based fast. And I said, first thing I want after I finish this fast is pizza and cookies. And we get off these fasts that we're eating healthy and we're glowing, and then we go back to an unhealthy diet. And so you just want to make sure that even though you're not fasting anymore, you're still being healthy. But yes, it is temporary. So it can be 3 days, 3 to 7 days. It can be one day. Even if you were to do it consistently, like one day a month, then you can still see the benefits. But if you're trying to see drastic benefits in your health, then this is some of the methods that different wellness centers use. So the wellness centers have nurses and staff there to oversee patients, and they usually will put their patients on these types of fasts. So yeah, just temporary. And now we're going to go into cognitive decline. And fact or myth, total number of people with dementia is increasing in the US. What do you think?
Fact.
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 It's a myth. It is declining. According to research in 2019, 10% were diagnosed. In 2011, 13 were diagnosed. And so it's decreasing about 1 to 2.5% per year. This is partially due to people living longer. So the more people live longer, the more that percentage goes down. So the top causes of cognitive decline is inflammation and lifestyle choices. And you will see this lifestyle choices popping up consistently in the presentation because a lot of this can be alleviated depending on what we choose for ourselves. So avoiding and improving cognitive decline. We want to stay mentally active. So games, puzzles, reading, learning new skills, languages, playing music. We want to follow a whole food diet. And when I say whole food, I'm not talking about vegan. I'm just saying if you're going to eat chicken, then don't eat chicken nuggets or something processed. Focus on the whole food, the whole chicken or the whole broccoli or whatever it is. And if you can get it fresh, that's even better. Obviously, if you have to do frozen foods or canned foods, that's okay. But not only is it better if it's fresh, but it tastes better. So it's beneficial to your taste buds. And then you want to exercise regularly. Aerobic activity boosts blood flow to the brain and stay socially engaged and manage chronic conditions. Now for sleep problems. People sleep easier as they get older. Do you think this is a fact or a myth?
Myth.
Myth. You said that with confidence. You said it like, yeah, definitely not. It is a myth. Although older adults may go to sleep earlier as they age, they may fall asleep more suddenly in old age. On average, they wake up earlier and they wake up more often during the night. And because of those sleep disturbances, they often have less REM sleep. So, top causes for sleep problems is stress, imbalanced hormones, and then again, lifestyle choices. So, to avoid and improve sleep problems, we want to maintain a sleep routine. We want to avoid any drinks, especially sugary or caffeinated drinks and alcohol, at least 2 hours before bed. And we can do pelvic exercises to strengthen the bladder area and complete gratefulness exercises. And that might sound odd. Like, why does it matter if I complete gratefulness exercises for sleep? It brings peace and calmness. And that's all of the things that I share with you are based on research and data. And then trusting in God. If we give our cares to God and we release our burdens, if that's what you believe, then it oftentimes gives us a more of a peace where we're able to just go to sleep. Sometimes people just stay awake just thinking about everything they have to do or thinking about what might happen tomorrow. And when we have a peace, then it's easier for us to just go to sleep. Now, I don't know if all of you heard of this, but our brain is washed while we sleep. This goes back to the previous point, the second point, which was cognitive decline. When we sleep, when we get a good night's sleep, especially REM, there is a chemical that is released in our brain. It is a cerebrospinal fluid that washes over our brain, and it gets rid of all those plaques and proteins and toxins. And what's interesting when it comes to dementia and Alzheimer's and other issues like that, they're finding that there's a buildup of proteins in the brain. They all have those buildup of proteins. I haven't had time to look at the research to determine whether there is a link between them having a sleep issue and their protein buildup, but I can almost guarantee that that is one of the cases. But again, when we get a good night's sleep, it literally washes our brain while we're resting. So practical activity, relaxation techniques. When we're able to relax and rest, we're more apt to have a good night's rest. So I want to do a breathing exercise with you all. And let me see if I can get you guys to see me a little bit better. See my upper body a little bit better. Because I want you guys to do this with me. Don't just watch me. Remember, no one on here can see you. You're not on camera, you're not being recorded. So just in the privacy of wherever you are, I want you to put your hands on your belly. And you want to make sure that your middle fingers are just touching slightly. And you put that on your belly and you breathe from there. Now, before we breathe, I want to tell you why we're doing this. So most people breathe from their chest. They breathe up. But if we're breathing properly, you want to breathe out. Now, why? Breathing activates in this way. It activates the parasympathetic nervous system, and this promotes relaxation and reduces stress. So when we breathe properly, that's what it does. And when you have your middle fingers right here, they should come open ever so slightly if you're breathing properly. So you want to breathe out, and you want to breathe in. And they should come back together when you breathe in. Then breathe out, and breathe in. So that's how you breathe properly. And that's something that will help you relax if you have trouble sleeping in the evenings. Now we're going to go to mobility issues. No matter how old someone is, they can regain muscle and strength. Myth or fact?
Fact.
Fact.
Fact. Yeah.
Yep. People of all ages can benefit from exercise and physical therapy and activity, even if they have not been active previously. I remember watching a video of someone who was trying to lose weight. They were probably about 500 pounds or so. They weren't able to really get out the bed. Their transformation was miraculous. But what they did was they just started off having them clap, because that's really all they could do. And so they started losing weight just by sitting in their bed clapping. So even if they haven't been as physically fit or active before, we can still get on track. Doesn't matter where we're starting at. So top causes for mobility issues: muscle loss, balance issues, medication side effects. So avoiding and improving mobility issues. We want to do strength and balance exercises, so weightlifting and strength training. Safe home. I used to work in a psychiatric hospital, and we had a geriatric unit. And I also worked in the county where I'm from in Ohio for the Office on Aging. And our job at that county office was to make sure people remained independent in their homes. And through that work, one of the things that I learned is this is the main reason why people do not remain independent in their homes, because of their home environment and their likelihood of falling. So removing any tripping hazards, loose rugs, installing grab bars if you need to. Also, one thing that I pay attention to as I age is how many steps am I living in? Like I have no intention of buying one of those those condos where it has like 4 stories. Preferably a 1-story home would be best. And then checking eyesight and hearing regularly. We don't just use our eyes to see and our ears to hear. It's one of the ways that we're able to stay balanced. So if something is off, then we lose our balance a lot easier. I know an audiologist, and she told me that most of the time when she does a hearing test for people, they do not want, if they need it, they do not want the hearing aids. And I was going to ask a question, like, why do you think that may be? But it looks like I might be running up against time, so I'm going to stop asking so many questions. But the reason why is because they just don't want to wear hearing aids. And it doesn't matter what age it is. So since they haven't improved their hearing, because they don't want to wear the hearing aids, they're more likely to be impacted by balance issues. And then adequate nutrition, calcium, vitamin D, protein intake to maintain bone and muscle health. And then stretching. Stretching is the one I want to focus on. So fascia is a thin, fibrous connective tissue that surrounds and supports all our muscles, organs, bones, and other structures in our body. So a lot of times what we focus on is our muscles. We're constantly doing all of these strength training exercises, which is good. We need that too. But stretching helps strengthen that thin, fibrous connective tissue, that fascia. And it's that fascia that holds in that the muscles and the organs of the body. And the reason why I'm pointing to my arm right here is because this is usually where we have a big issue, right? We are doing all of this exercise, but we're not able to tone our arms the way we want. And sometimes it could be vitamin and mineral deficiencies, but sometimes it could just be we have weak fascia. And fascia is strengthened by stretching. And it also helps with our flexibility, mobility. It reduces pain and stiffness. It improves our posture. It enhances our circulation, and it encourages faster recovery from injuries. So another practical activity that I want you to do with me, again, no one can see you. You're in the privacy of your own home. Go ahead and just choose one of these stretching exercises to do with me really quick. This is one of my favorites because I love to stretch that fascia over that arm because I have an issue myself with getting this toned, especially as I age. And one of my other favorites, because it just feels so nice, is stretching the arm. So you want to just go back like this, like you see in the bottom left. And then you can also do some of the leg ones. I mean, stretching should not be painful. A lot of times people say, oh, I don't like stretching because it hurts. It shouldn't hurt. If it's hurting, then that means you're stretching too far. You're not ready to go that far yet. So just stretch till you feel a nice release. It should feel very comfortable and like pleasant to you. All right, now social isolation and loneliness. This is the 5th one. As you get older, it's inevitable to get stuck in your ways. Fact or myth?
Fact.
Fact. Anyone else?
Fact.
Fact, yeah.
Fact.
Fact.
Okay. It is a myth
Mhm.
that everyone can learn and adapt, and that's a natural response. So it's not inevitable to get stuck in our ways as we get older. There's actually in science or research where they're coming out with this thing called not coming out, they are uncovering this concept of neuroplasticity. I actually have a program called the Holistic Health Program, and it's based on neuroplasticity and how we can change our habits. But kind of, I guess a story that kind of brings this home is I was watching a movie about a guy that was falsely accused of something. I'll just say something horrific. He was in jail for a while. The woman finally came forward and said, yeah, it didn't really happen. It's not true. And I thought to myself, how horrible to be falsely accused of something and have to go to prison. But I thought, well, that's how powerful the brain is. No matter what conditions we are in or what conditions we face, whether it's starting a new job or going to a new school or homelessness or having our kids leave the home or going through a divorce, no matter what the situation or transition is, we adapt. And so we're going to continue to do that. And it does not stop at a certain age. So top causes for social isolation and loneliness: retirement, loss of a loved one, and reduced mobility or hearing loss. For retirement, I tell people I have no intention of retiring. And it's funny to me because I talk to young people and they're like, I want to retire before I'm 40. And I'm thinking, for what? What are you going to do? I think we should find work that we enjoy and do that for the rest of our life. Even if we are picking and choosing our hours, we still have gifts, we still have much to give to the world, and talents and skills, and people need it. And as long as we are in a healthy mind to do it, healthy body to do it, we should really do it. As long as, I think the key is just not having to rely on it financially. And then avoiding and improving social isolation and loneliness. We want to build and maintain relationships so we can join clubs, faith groups, volunteer, use technology, video calls, social media, online classes. I have to say that's one of my least favorite. When Joy told me that this is going to be online, I was a little deflated. I said, "Oh," because I love to, like you can notice, I love interacting with you all. So, but that is an option, and thankfully it is. And then spend time outside and in nature. So saying hi to neighbors, sitting down, reading a book. This is something that can accomplish so many different things. We're getting fresh air. We're meeting new people, we're getting sunlight, we're getting exercise. So just simply going outside can do so much for us. And then pursue purpose and joy. So hobbies, creative pursuits, and giving back. So practical activity for this one is gratefulness exercises. So I like everyone to come off mute and just tell me one thing you are grateful for. This has been shown in science and research to improve optimism, improve like your overall outlook on life, and improve mental health. There's this other study where it's called the happiness score. It actually improves the happiness score just by saying what we're grateful for. So I'll start and I'll say I'm grateful for you all coming and watching this seminar.
Healthy
Grateful.
children.
Healthy, you said healthy children?
Yes.
Okay.
Grateful for grandchildren. Interaction.
Grandchildren,
Shelter.
shelter,
Health. Good health.
good health.
I was going to add good health also. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say grateful that I'm in my right mind.
Yes, that's another one.
Yes, definitely.
Breathing.
You said grieving?
Breathing.
Breathing.
Oh, breathing. Yes, absolutely.
That's true.
Yeah. Well, I hope that helped, put a smile on your face and, gave you, a higher happiness score just thinking about that. Now these are some resources. So Joy asked me to wrap up by 1:45, and I feel like I'm quite there. These are some resources that I want to leave you with, and I'll send these links to Joy to share with you. But the Holistic Health app is an app that I developed, and this is a coupon for 100% off. So Wholeness 2025. So you can complete that app, what it does is you can complete an assessment and it gives you your results instantly. And then you can create a health plan based on anything that's outside a healthy range. So if anything comes back red or says that, okay, this isn't ideal, then you can create a health plan based on that. And then the holistic health community is a community that I like to facilitate to help people stay healthy, encouraging each other to stay healthy and to stay encouraged. And then these cognitive tests, these are with OSU's, Ohio State University's Wexner Medical Center. It's very interesting. They're simple. So you can just download it, and it's just 12 questions. If you are able to answer at least half, then according to them, you're good. If you are not able to answer at least half, then they say that maybe you want to look for some type of help in that area because there might be indication of cognitive decline. So those are some resources that I want to leave you with. But are there any questions?
I
Would
have a
you,
question.
Mhm.
This is Gail. In regards to the holistic health community,
Yes.
explain that. It's a part of the Adventist church. Do you need to be a part of the church?
Oh,
Or is
no,
it
you don't have to be a part of the church at all. When you join, basically, I will just share different things that are going on in the community. So we're able to do those things together. So if there's an expo somewhere, I'll let the group know, like, I'm planning on being at this expo. Does anyone want to meet me there or go with me? And if there's events like this, I will share that with the team so that they can participate in that. If I find any really neat resources, I might share that with them. So there's a book on natural. So it's on the other side of the room, but there's a book on natural remedies. So I share things like that that I find helpful. So that's what the group is. But you do not have to be a part of the church.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Any other questions?
How would you go about finding, if you're interested in you mentioned doctor of osteopathic medicine?
Yeah, I
How
will
would you
say
go about finding
it's
those
not
individuals?
significantly easy. So what another thing that I'm planning on doing with a few people in the DMV area that are passionate about health is creating a website for all of these hard to find practitioners, health coaches, fitness coaches, things like that. Because right now all we can do is Google, and whoever comes up on Google, that's who we have access to. But they are on there. You just have to Google and then do some research on them to see if they're who you want to go with.
Okay.
I know a couple as well. So what I can do is after this, I will get their contact information to Joy, and then perhaps she can share it with the group afterwards.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
Well, Sheena, thank you so much for your presentation. I am not rushing you off at all. My question is, would you be willing to share this presentation with the participants so they can have some additional notes from you?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Fabulous.
There's
So,
resources at the bottom too.
oh, good.
Um, uh,
So I
So
would
if that
love,
helps, so these are research sources from all the things that I shared today. So that's in there as well.
fabulous. I know there's some scholars in this class that love to have extra reading as well. So those resources are fabulous.
Yeah,
And I would love to receive the presentation as soon as you're able to get it to me. And
I can get it to you today.
awesome.
Yeah.
And so I generally send out the notes on the recording as well as any other resources that the presenters share with me.
Okay.
So that'll go out to the class.
Sounds good.
Are
Well,
there
I
any
want
other questions or conversations from anyone? I see a hand is raised. Miss Gail?
Yeah, so I'm going back to, I didn't want to interrupt you in the middle of your presentation. When you said when you're talking about dementia, the numbers actually going down because people are
Mhm.
living longer.
Yeah.
Explain that more to me. I can't make that connection.
So basically, because more people are living, so put it like this: we have, let's say, we have 10 people on this call, and two people. I regret using this as an example now, but just say two people have dementia. That's 20%. If we have 20 people on this call and two people have dementia, that's 10%. So just out of sheer volume of
I
people
got you
because they're
now.
living longer. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I better understand it now. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's still not that fewer people are
You're
getting it.
right.
It's just more people are living longer and we still have the same number of people getting dementia.
Approximately. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I see now. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We can also examine some current trends that there are more people than ever now that are focused on living healthier lives. There
It's
are more
true.
people that are trying to live plant forward lifestyles. There are more people that are engaging in physical activity now. There are more younger people these days that are beginning to adapt to health practices younger than we did in generations past. So these could also be contributing factors to lower numbers of
Yeah.
dementia and Alzheimer's.
It absolutely is. And I can use my family as an example. My family's from Eufaula, Alabama. And so we eat Southern. And I'm vegan now. I'm the only vegan in my family. I cook my food still in a Southern way, just a healthy twist. And my family does not eat healthy at all. They are starting to shift because they see me and they see my results and they see their results. But like Joy was sharing, in times past, families did not really necessarily have all the information that we have today. And so they may have had some choices, lifestyle choices that weren't as conducive to health. But now we do. And so there are more people that's leaning in that direction.
That's great.
Ah,
Another
you know
question
people.
came in the chat. Um, the question is, would you still consider eating twice a day a fast?
Well, the science would consider it, especially if you're doing it within a certain time frame. So some people, when they do intermittent fasting, they may start eating at like 10 a.m. and they stop at maybe 6 p.m. And that is considered an intermittent fast. And the research does still show that that has positive effects on cellular reset. Basically, what we want to do is give our body a rest. We want our body to have time to, instead of it focusing so highly on the digestive processes, because that takes a lot of energy. Our cells are working overtime, pulling in phosphorus and sugars and potassium and restructuring all these chemicals in our body. So the more chemicals we give it, because that's what the food is, the more our body has to work. So any type of rest we give our body from doing that process will have that benefit. So even if it's just certain time of the day that you're just not eating, and you give like a 16-hour fast, which includes sleeping, like 8 hours, that would be beneficial.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? All right, well, I want to thank you all for coming on and listening to the presentation. And if you have any questions afterwards, feel free to contact me. My email is holistichealthcommunity@gmail.com. Apologize, I didn't put it on a presentation, but you're free to email me and ask questions as well.
I put that email address in the chat. Just want to make sure I spelled it correctly. So if you'll check that, Sheena, and let me
Yeah,
know.
it's with a W.
It's with a
Yep,
W,
it's perfect. Thank you.
Okay, got it. So everyone, her email address is in the chat if you have any further questions, or you can also reach out to me or of course, Dr. Dambita, and we'll get in contact with Sheena and then she'll have an answer for you. And she has said that she'll share her presentation as well. So again, thank you all for joining us. We appreciate you being a part of our class. Please continue sharing the information with your friends and family members and invite someone else to join our class next week. Dr. Dambita, did you have any comments?
Absolutely. I have to thank Dr. Crawford. I mean, this is amazing. This is a
Thank you.
great presentation. And I'm going to give you a call. We need
Okay.
to talk privately. Not this week, certainly next week.
Sounds good.
To give you a call so we can talk. Okay?
I look forward to it.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you.
So another
Thank
question
you.
came in the chat. Will each week be different material? Mr. Arthur Miller. So with our complementary and integrative health class, since this is a new class, we're actually building it out as we speak. So each week since July, we've been trying to present different presenters and different topics, everything that falls within line of complementary and integrative health. As we're building, Dr. Dambita and I and Wintana Quiros, who is the other facilitator on this class, the other head of this class, we're looking to see what are some great presentations that are coming forth, who are some wonderful presenters that have valuable insight and information to share. And eventually, the class will narrow down to having a few rotating presenters. So then you'll begin to see a similar person once a month or every other month. But for now, Mr. Miller, we're exposing the class to different types of complementary and integrative health. Eventually, things will narrow down more. So I hope that answers your question. Great. Are there any other questions from the class? All right, well, I give you all 5 minutes back of your time. We're ending a few minutes early. We like to end on time here. So thanks again for joining us, and please come back and see us again next week. Next week, we're discussing music therapy with a different guest presenter. Have a wonderful rest of your day, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Sheena.
Great presentation.
Thank you.
Wonderful, just wonderful. Yeah.